Hi, this is a quick review for Eckhart Tolle's Practicing the Power of Now. Basically, it is excerpts. I might read the little write-up at the back to kind of explain what its purpose is and what it's used for. But I think people maybe were a bit inundated with a bit too much detail and information in the book The Power of Now, which I've talked about before. So he's put together this book, which are basically excerpts from The Power of Now. I think there might be a tiny bit more writing in it, I'm not sure, but it's kind of designed in a more accessible way. The subheading is, of course, a guide to spiritual enlightenment, essential teachings, meditations and exercises from the power of now. So it's a bit more of a practical thing where you can kind of just open a page or a little chapter and find some guidance or practice something that you need to at the time, or sort of go over something that you want to understand better. So that's how I used it over a couple of months, and in fact there's one particular passage about suffering and how we really highly over-identify with our suffering and becomes a part of our identity, really, you know. And when I'm going through certain things or feeling particularly down and going through old habits and patterns and distress of some type, I read over this passage and I just find it immensely helpful, and it helps me to disconnect. So as he says, I mean, you can't really explain all the theories right up to someone who hasn't read it before. That's why I encourage you to do so. But as he says in the little quotation in the beginning from him about awakening and suffering, of thinking, because we have an addiction to thinking in this world, obviously, which is often the cause of a lot of mental health, negative mental health. Anyhow, it says, the beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the thinker. The moment you start watching the thinker, observing when you are thinking, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought. That thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. Then you begin to awaken. So it's a bit of a short summary of his ideas and philosophies and teachings, essentially, divided into various chapters, reflecting on portions of the power of now. It's about learning to stop resisting and embracing what is, whatever is, irrespective of it being painful or distressing. And once you do that, you can learn to rise above that for a different state of consciousness. I think it's tremendously helpful. I think it's absolute must read. If you haven't read The Power of Now, the longer edition, you can read this as a standalone. If you have read The Power of Now, I think this is a useful accompaniment to improve your understanding and practice Tolle's teachings. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm also giving this 5 Grisbys out of 5. Check it out, please. You can check out more of my self-help related titles here. I haven't written them, but I've reviewed them. So if you want to check those out, you can.